What's gone on? It started to rain. It's supposed to be bright sunshine. These weather people haven't a clue, have they? And my plan was Saturday to get out early in the morning and have a good ride, go out to the Ponderosa. I've been up to Wales for a while, try to avoid the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits. It's actually fresh, it's a lovely, even though it's got a bit wet, oh, it's going to absolutely hammer it down. And you can tell as well in the mornings now, it's starting to get darker. Another 6 weeks. I think end of October the clocks go back, and then this big boy will come into its own, because the roads will get busier. Well, it's quite interesting when you listen to the news in the morning. I should stop listening to it. I don't listen to lots of it, but you end up listening to people's views and the way people are. Ooh, that road looks flippy. I don't like roads when they go from really bone dry, baked by the sun, to shiny and wet like that. Don't matter what tyres you've got on. So I'm trying to turn that off. In fact, I'm going to turn it off completely. That's better. Well, it was supposed to be, my forecast was saying it was bright sunshine. So I don't know where that is, unless it's hiding behind the rain. Just take you in on the bike, play some music, enjoy our journey into work, what it's really like on a daily commute on this NC. Well, I do believe the sun is trying to get out, people. What a view. Sometimes missing many years ago some of the jobs I used to do when I was a mobile. I used to have a nickname, Northern Billy, because I was always, Monday morning I'd have to be in Glasgow for 9 o'clock, and I used to service Vantage Chemist computers, so it meant leaving very early from Manchester, well, from Warrington. And some of the views in the morning as you're driving up into Scotland through Carlisle, you know, and the sunrises were absolutely astounding. And GoPros weren't invented then. I suppose you had cameras, but you didn't have any sort of stabilisation on anything. And being a job, you never even thought about taking a picture. Your interest was just to get there, get the job done and get home, and maybe try and be home before 7 o'clock. And that, you know, that's a strange thing. It's like when I was much younger, my days, people going about how hard they work. My days were on average, I'd be out at 5 or 6 o'clock, at 6 o'clock at the latest, and I'd be lucky to get back in the door by 6:30 to 7 o'clock at night. And you know, we went overtime with salary, and it's like the company car. My friends said, "Oh, you got a company car?" Well, that honeymoon period of that company car runs off very quickly when you're having to munch miles, and then do a day's work in a couple of hours. And I think that's really why I moved more into what I do now, into a school, because I've got set hours, I've got a lot of free time really, and I don't know what it is, as you get older you just don't seem to use that free time as well as what you did when you were younger. Although it's like doing these videos for this, people don't realise it, how long it takes. You know, just a quick video overnight like this, a quick run into work and back, you're into over an hour. Just by a bit of cutting, editing, and if you want to put music in, you're into over an hour doing that. But you know, part of it, enjoy it as well. It has become a hobby. And it's nice, you know, it's great, because the last couple of videos, and that's what I like, I've had some choice emails. I think it was Steve C I got, it wasn't Colin, I thought it's Steve C that I got one saying about the way we ride bikes. It's right, and that's what, you know, I'd rather people, I'm a frank person, and you can tell by my French when I'm out with my nephew, that's the real me. Unfortunately, I'm a typical Brit. I hate swearing, but I swear, and I don't mean to. It's just the moment. I actually detest swearing, and I detest when I listen to it on the video. A lot of it I've cut out. You can hear the little cuts in between. But you can't change who you are, I'm afraid. If that's who you are, that's who you are. And I'd rather be who I am, who's an honest person, tell the truth. And I've said to I'd love to see as many NC riders get together, send out a text and meet in one place. It would be nothing better than seeing a load of NC bikes stuck in the Pandarosa or wherever. I'd thoroughly enjoy it. But that's, you know, that's what's part of the fun is. The part of the fun is it's a freedom. Riding a bike, a lot of people don't see it, but it's really, I think I've said it before, it's really good for your health. You know, you have truly got your own space, your own little room, and you see beautiful things so you can think as you're going along. It does help your well-being. And the truth of it is, no matter what speed you're doing, slow or fast, well, it's got that smell of warm dampness that has hit the trees. And I'm still trying to fight with the microphone as well. Find a better place for that. I still get a lot of wind noise through this helmet. Now, I was going to do a review on another helmet I bought. I bought a brand new helmet, and I've said it a few times. And I'm so unimpressed with the helmet. It's untrue. I'm gutted, really. The helmet is lovely to wear, which is a Scorpion. A carbon Scorpion helmet, really light, really well built, got some nice little trinkets inside that you can pump up the cheeks if they get a bit too soft, not that I need to with my cheeks. Just noisy, just such a noisy helmet. Now is that me or it's like as I go past Manchester Airport now, going back before COVID, you just see many more planes take off from Manchester Airport. You know, I think it's Heathrow, I think the one takes off and one lands every, I think it's minutes. So you'd literally see a bank of planes following each other going in and going out. Well, Manchester Airport used to be really busy. You'd see at least two to three planes in the air at the time. Now you don't. And I've had friends that have gone away. They went to Turkey. They're absolutely horrendous with all the strikes and all the air problems that they had. They said an absolute. It weren't a holiday, it just become anxiety for them, thinking whether they're going to get home, thinking that, because they get the train into Manchester, thinking the train's going to be running when we get off the airport. The world's just got a bit potty, isn't it, at the moment? Waterproof camera, don't we? A lens that injects water off it straight away. That's what I do love about this bike. I'm going to say it again, I've said it on all my videos, talking about Moss there, you know, you can't overtake it, but think about it, that's how easy it is. This bike just goes. If you're in the mid 60s to, well, 40s to 80s, you can just drop down and off you go. above that, once you start getting your revs above the 5,000, then it yeah, you have to do a bit more work, but you can still do it. And I was going to put the guard on yesterday and the pegs. It was just too hot. So instead I put the previous video out for you, all you people that watch it, and I had a beer because I thought that was a better thing to do. I do love them bars at the front. I could just stretch my legs out. Oh, become like an easy rider. One of my friends says to me, "Do you not get bored of just doing the same run?" But you don't have a choice, do you? And I don't always do the same one. But there's really only, well, there's a couple of routes. I mean, I could cut down the lanes. I think we've done that before. Could go down the lanes of Dunham Massey, through Wythenshawe, and out that way through Altrincham. But when you're going to work and you're going home generally, you just want to go home, don't you? But yeah, I may do. I may have a quick ride down through the Dunham Massey one day for you. I mean, that is lovely down there. One of my videos there where I think the logo is 2 horsepower versus 48 horsepower. And I just got lost in the lanes going home. I just thought, oh, bugger it, I'm just going to go for a ride and go down somewhere I've not been before. And there's nothing better than it when you're on your bike, wherever you are. I mean, I do when I'm out, you know, that's what, I suppose that's why I don't like being in crowds or following people, because I don't set a journey, I just go, oh, that road looks nice, let's try that, see what it turns out. And you're astonished some of the roads that you go down. I've got another one to put out when I actually come back from the J&S factory. That was with my nephew. I come back on my own. He went off into the Peaks. And I thought, I'll come back through Holmeshackle. I'll come back a slightly different way. And I went down some lanes around Holmeshackle. Never been down them in my life. I couldn't believe it. It's like being in a different country. It was just astounding. It's sad to say, if I didn't work and I could afford just to be out on my bike all day, pottering around, I think I would. I wouldn't think twice about it. I do like that Porsche. See it every day. It is they are a nice shape. Well, this is where this big boy comes into its own. So what I say, as soon as you get a spot of rain on the roads, cars get stuck. As I I say, for the schools, as everyone knows, all the schools are back, except for the ones that have got concrete issues. And that is one that gets me, you know, it just... you know, I don't like any of the politicians, don't like any of them in Westminster. They're all liars, cheats and crooks. And they're all scared of telling the truth. But you can't blame Sunak or the politicians that are in place now for the state of them schools. The majority of that issue goes to school management themselves. And I've worked around schools for about 20 years. This is the only one I've worked in. I've worked as servicing all the IT across many schools. And you just wouldn't believe the waste that's in schools. And people look at it and it's our money. It's taxpayers' money that is absolutely thrown down the gutter. For me, we've got a cracking head teacher at our school. Really good. Really understands facilities, which a lot of them don't. A lot of them are on a completely different planet. But they still should be. Head teachers should have nothing to do with running the maintenance of a school. I love this flat. I've seen this taxi loads of times. Busy down here today, isn't it? Yeah, it should be completely taken out of their hands. They should have in schools. They should have director of maintenance and management services, and that's what it goes to. It has nothing to do with a head teacher spending money on, I want this new building or this new door. It should just go to them, and that's what they do. But it's a hard thing. It's, you know, we all sit there and we all think how easy it is to, from the outside, how easy it is to do these sort of things. But when you put into it yourself and you do it yourself, it becomes a different ball game, doesn't it? Well, this is proper filtering, isn't it? Let's get me little super mask down there. Get a bit of air off my eyeballs. And this is what I say to people. This is why I love it. And I'm going to say it again. If you're not comfortable filtering, don't filter. Because it is, I call it chasing the gauntlet. And I've been riding many years, so it's like, I'm not saying I'm the best rider in the world, but there's a lot of things that you learn as you filter. It's like I'm not just watching the cars in front, I'm watching them in the mirrors. I'm looking what they're doing in the mirrors, and this Merc and this blue one here, and watching what they're doing. And it's a strange thing as well, because the handlebars on this bike are wider than what they are on the older NC, by about 4 inches. And it took me a week to get used to filtering with it. It really did take me a bit of time to get used to it. But once you're used to it, it's a doddle, really. It's like that. It's weird how you can actually see people that see you move across. And I'm really toying actually. When I went out on the Transalp, and Warren and Joe so kindly borrowed me the Transalp to ride. That Transalp had spots on the front of it that were permanently on. So they weren't, you couldn't turn them on, turn them off. They were permanently on. as part of thingy, and I thought that was brilliant. It's like anything, no one wants to upset oncoming traffic with your lights, but the visibility of that bike was fantastic. So we'll just let him out. I'll let him out, and he'll let me go past when this bus is here. Sorry, mate. Cheers, mate. Sorry. And this is the thing about filtering. Cars are going to stop, and this is where you can get past them. Just be patient like that. It sounds daft, it's harder to filter when I've said it loads of times, when cars are stopped and side by side. When they're moving, it creates space for you. And it's like now, they're never going to beat you off the mark, so. And I say it again, that C400X was an astounding bike off the mark. Not only was it quick off the mark, it was quiet. Super quiet. You know, from one lamp post to the next there on that, nothing kept up with it. It was just astounding. That used to give me such a smile on my face, that bike. And that's like one of them. That is a bike that I wouldn't think twice about having. You know, if I was sat down last night and I was thinking, having a beer, I was thinking, right, if I could have 3 bikes and I weren't going to do any repairs and I weren't going to do bits for the channel, but I wanted 3 bikes that I could just ride at different times whenever I feel like it, what would I have? And I know what they'd be. I know now what they'd be. The NC will still always be the main one. You know, even if this one goes, we'll get another one. I know for fact. Sometimes you do things, you just know you make a mistake and you're going to go back to it because that's the right way to fix that mistake. So the NC I think will be with me most of my life, most of my riding life, what's left of it. But I do, after adding the Africa Twin, think that has not just impulse, but the handling of it and the way it was. That'd be, I know this is side, it's a big heavy thing off road, but you'd enjoy it. And then the C400X, without doubt. I love riding to work on this, but doing that commute, that C400X was better. On that little commute, you could pop up to 90 mile an hour on that without a glitch. You got 90 to the gallon, a relevant return on it. You had a lot of tech on it. The heated seat got me through the winter, and the heated grips, really good. Anyway, that's another ride with a Birchwood biker. Hope you've enjoyed it. And again, if Steve see you watching, apologise. You know, that's the way to ride, mate. I'll try to improve. Birchwood biker. Be kind to others, they'll be kind to you, and ride safely. See you on the next one. Ta-ra.